Hey world, this is Matt, the Wacky Wookie, and I'm bringing you a public service message. Today I'm going to talk about ice cream and propylene glycol. Yes, propylene glycol is an ingredient in some antifreezes, but it's an ingredient in the antifreeze that they claim to be eco-friendly. So it's not exactly the same as ethylene glycol, which is similarly named and is also similarly chemically structured, but they're not exactly the same. Now, it's true that you could use any liquid that would remain a liquid well below freezing as an antifreeze, and sorry, vodka is much too flammable. Now, Jeremy Bentham, a great philosopher, would say that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Okay, that sounds a little bit like Spock, but Spock or Gene Roddenberry kind of borrowed it from Jeremy Bentham, and the needs of the many need to not have toxic chemicals in their food additives, especially when our own FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, allows them to put these chemicals into our food and leave their presence off of the labels under generally recognized as safe guidelines. Now, I think this violates the FDA's own policies of truth in labeling and seems to be a bit of a contradiction. See, the FDA says that companies have to tell us what is in our food, but then by allowing unlisted ingredients in our food, they are falsely advertising protective false label advertising policies that they allow to be systematically violated. And they are technically violating their own policy by allowing anything such as generally recognized as safe ingredients to begin with. Now, there are only three options that I can see. First, the FDA could call for a total ban on the use of propylene glycol in our food. The second option is to force the FDA to force corporations to label propylene glycol as an ingredient. This would alert the consumer and give them choice in products, and naturally products without propylene glycol, if they sell better, would push products with propylene glycol off of the market. It would just happen naturally. Now, continuing on as such by hiding the existence of propylene glycol in our foods is morally void, in my opinion, and should be stopped and really isn't an option at all. Now, propylene glycol is also allowed to be used in dog food. It's not allowed to be used in cat food because it's been proven to cause a form of anemia. But there still may be victims, as my own cat, Jackie Sparrow, aka Big Fat Kitty, recently passed away. She got a bunch of tumors all up in her uterus, and we had them remove her uterus, and then came back, and then she got tumors in her lungs, and she passed away. Now, there's no way to actually prove that propylene glycol had any effect on her, but she did enjoy eating dog food from time to time, as I also have dogs, 3 dogs, and I used a dog feeder for a while. I just kept full with food, and the dogs would come eat. I mostly stopped using this because somebody who will remain nameless, okay, his name's Marty, put on about 25 pounds, and so we had to go back to just feeding them twice a day and making sure that their portions were controlled, and he ended up losing the weight and he got back in shape. But years down the road, we had problems with Big Fat Kitty, and I recently found out about the whole propylene glycol thing and decided to make this video. Now I hope that the FDA can at least give consumers a choice in deciding whether or not they want propylene glycol in their food. I know it keeps ice cream nice and soft, so you can scoop it straight out of the container, but is that really worth itching skin and possibly cardiovascular issues and neurological toxicity issues? It just seems like a big danger that benefits the few at the top of the corporate pyramid who are making money. Now, the only thing that can really be done is to start a groundswell effort and get the FDA to change their policies. They need to either tell us when propylene glycol is in our food, or they need to ban its use in food altogether. Those are really the only options, as continuing on with hiding its presence under generally recognized as safe industry standard guidelines is wrong. Well, thanks for listening, and have some ice cream.